Hey everybody, it's your girl Ashley, the amateur expert, and we are live. Today I am interviewing Andre Rochester, a friend from UConn, and today we will discuss his ideas of success, his career path, as well as some tips and motivators he's used along the way. So he has joined the chat, so I'm going to add him in. Hey Dre.
Hey, what's happening?
How
How you
are you?
doing?
Welcome to the Amateur Expert Show.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, if you could please introduce yourself to the audience.
Okay, so I'm Andre Rochester. I'm a fine artist from Hartford, Connecticut, currently residing in the greater Hartford area, still active in the local arts community. I'm a painter. I enjoy doing portraits and social commentary. I paint in acrylic. Been doing it since I was a kid, and me and Ashley went to UConn together.
Yes, we did. So, tell me this. You said you've been painting since you were 5. So, did you always think that you would be or aspire to be an artist?
So actually, I've been drawing since I was 7. I was a little kid when I first started doing art. I actually didn't get into painting really until after college, believe it or not.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I
So, what
did a
did you
little
want to be when
bit.
you were a child?
Oh, I actually wanted to be an archaeologist, believe it or not. I was like obsessed with dinosaurs when I was a little kid. So nothing art related at all. My dad got me a sketchbook when I was 7 because he wanted to keep me busy. I'm a little kid. I needed something to do. So he had me just drawing and stuff. He used to draw and paint when he was younger. So it's
Okay.
something that kind of runs in the family. I took it a little further than he did, and I ran with it. I really didn't get serious about it until like high school. I started to get good feedback, and all my peers liked my stuff. Everybody's asking me to draw them and stuff in class, and I was like, okay, well, maybe I got something here. And then I got involved in some after-school programs, and there was a summer mural painting program that I
Oh,
was in.
cool.
So I did 2 murals in Hartford, and that's where I learned about painting.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got into UConn. I started off as a graphic design major, believe it or not.
Okay.
But I wanted to get my hands dirty. Like I didn't want to sit in front of a computer. It just wasn't for me, and I needed to actually like touch the work that I was doing. So I chose illustration as my major at UConn, so that way I could still apply that same discipline that you would have as a commercial artist, but I could still get the fulfillment and the enjoyment out of actually
Right.
touching the medium I'm working with. So I did a lot of drawing. I actually did a lot of flyers for college parties and stuff while I was at UConn. So I didn't leave the graphic design alone completely. But in my senior year, well, yeah, my last year at UConn for my senior project, that was the first like real portraits that I painted. I
Okay.
did 3 memorial pieces for my mother, and I had lost her when I was 16. So
Oh, wow.
I wanted to do something in her memory.
Mm-hmm.
It was not what I was supposed to be doing for illustration, but I really didn't care. I earned my C. So I just did those pieces, and the emotional response that I got from some of the people who attended the senior reception, it really showed me that I had something, that I was able to connect with the audience in a different way. So like I said, I didn't really take painting seriously until I left UConn, but I
Okay.
had experience with it. I took painting classes and stuff while I was there.
So tell me this, when you
Mhm.
were younger,
Yep.
around the age when you were thinking about being an archaeologist, what was your idea of success, or did you think about how did you think about success?
Hmm. Um, I mean, really, I didn't really think about success as a little kid. I just thought dinosaurs were cool.
Got
And I
it.
had this little obsession. Like every time I went to a museum, I wanted to look at the dinosaur bones. I wanted to go to like Dinosaur State Park out here in Connecticut, stuff like that. I had little dinosaur toys. So I had this thing that was just so cool to me that I figured I guess you could say I would have been successful in my mindset at that point had I been able to do something where I was able to find fossils or whatever or study them.
Or bring you some sort of fulfillment.
Yeah, yeah.
And so you said that you transitioned, or what made you change your mind from wanting to be an archaeologist? Is it just
So
the fact that you were able to get, you know, the positive feedback from your peers?
well, I kind of grew out of the dinosaur obsession, and then it was all about like drawing cartoon characters and picking up things and setting them up in my room and drawing little still lifes and stuff, and really starting to get good at that. So as my skills built up, I started to I started feeling like I had something going. So I
Mm-hmm.
would just keep it up and keep it up, and then like you just said, the positive feedback that I was getting, that told me that there was something that I was doing that was above what the average person would have been doing.
Right.
So I wanted to see how far I could take that.
So now that you are an accomplished uh, artist, has your what is your idea of success now?
My idea of success is actually being able to live comfortably, doing my passion, pursuing my goals in that arena, while
Mm-hmm.
also being able to help other people. Over time, I've learned to measure success by your ability to give back. If you can still give back and live comfortably and live the lifestyle that you want, then you've achieved a certain status. It's not going to hurt me to help
Mm-hmm.
somebody.
Right.
And that to me is being successful.
And what? How did you sort of? You said you started as an illustration major.
Mhm.
Um, how did you sort of find your way as to being an acrylic painter, or do you consider yourself a not well-rounded, but you know, someone who still dabbles in all the mediums of art?
Well, I dabble in multiple media. I do more than just acrylic. I also draw in charcoal, graphite, color pencil, pastels. I've done some watercolor. I don't really like watercolor. And I can also do oil paints. The only things that I don't really do are photography and sculpture. Photography is expensive, and sculpture is a lot harder than it looks. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something I didn't have enough time to really build skill in.
Mm-hmm.
So I play to my strengths. Painting is something that I choose to do because it's something I really enjoy, and it's also a challenge. It's
Okay.
something that is very hard to do.
Mm-hmm.
It is not easy to render an image that looks like somebody and, be accurate. It takes a lot to do that. So with every person, because we're all different, there's a new challenge. And so I'm really drawn to that aspect of it.
I like that. That's a good answer. Um, so what do you think? Where will we see you in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years, I'm hoping you're gonna see me in somebody's museum. That's definitely on the plans. I'm currently, I'm actively doing gallery shows, and I curate and I teach classes as well. So in the next 5 years, I would like my business to expand a bit. I do still have a day job. I got to get these bills paid, but I'm also able to pursue my dream at the same time. So it doesn't really, I don't think that the two are really competing with one another. But in
Mm-hmm.
the next 5 years, I'd like to probably be at a point where I can really start thinking about doing this full time and then have a set plan. I'd like to get my MFA so that way I can teach college courses.
Oh, okay.
That way, my day job would actually be what I want to do anyway. I currently teach individual lessons and stuff like that, so it wouldn't be as big of a transition as one might think.
Right.
And I've always had this desire to teach art at a college level. Like I want to be the person who helps to develop up and coming artists and really help them learn what they need in order to be not just good at what you do, but to be good professionals at what you do. I'm currently looking at ways to improve my business, and I'm applying some of the lessons that I learned in the traditional workplace to what I'm doing with my own business. So I
That's
want to
good.
share those lessons learned with other artists. So in the next 5 years, hopefully I'll have a curriculum of some sort already developed so that I can either turn this into my own program that will help artists with professional development, or I can turn it into a curriculum for a class that I teach at a college.
I love it. Is that your work behind you? I know it is.
Yeah, of course it is.
I
Of
know it
course
is.
it is. It's on my shirt too, by the way. See that? See that? Like
I
that
love
product
the
placement.
branding. I love it. So where do you find your inspiration?
I find inspiration. This is gonna sound like a cliche, but I find inspiration from all of life experiences. I've been through some things, and a part of my work for a good 6 or 7 years was actually an illustration of a journey of that I was on. And as I had gone through whatever trials and tribulations I was facing, I wanted to capture the emotion behind those experiences, and I wanted to connect with people in that way. So I was directly influenced artistically by what I had gone through. So anything that I can attach an emotion to usually ends up on the canvas in some way. I'm no longer in that space that I was in, so I had to find something else that I was passionate about that I could paint about and still draw in those same emotions. Or draw in emotion at that level that I was doing it before. So now it's more about social commentary. I tell people all the time that I moved from just doing paintings of people to doing paintings about people. And now, like even the piece that's behind me, that one's about immigration. I'm not an immigrant. However, I know a lot of people who have immigrated here to the United States. And, you
Right.
know, it's a serious issue that's a hot topic in the news these days. There's a lot of problems with our current system with regards to how we handle illegal immigration. And I'm hurt by what I'm hearing about these kids who are being separated from their families.
Right.
So I made a piece about it. You know, what you see is a child who's depicted behind this fence. You know, these children are being caged in down there, treated like prisoners. They didn't do anything, and they're being mistreated while they're in these detention camps. So that's something that I felt strongly about, that I feel like I needed to make a statement about. And so I did it. I took it to the canvas. I made it a T-shirt. This shirt was actually used for a fundraiser last year, where I donated all of the profits to a immigrant advocacy organization in El Paso, Texas.
That's amazing.
Um, yeah, so I try to do things like that, as well as, I'm trying to make money for myself too now. But if I can do something where it gets people to not only just feel, I want them to think and discuss and have dialogue with one another about these issues that I'm illustrating on the canvas, and I want them to try to find solutions together. I'd like my work to be a way to connect people, but also a way to get conversations started. Art is often used as a means to start conversations that are difficult. Usually, a picture can say a lot of things that we may not have the words to express, or we
Right.
just might not be able to articulate it well. So I'm hoping that my artwork can be used as that.
That's great. So not my last question, but my next question is,
Mhm.
what tips and motivators have you used along the way, through you learning more about art, through your practice, as well as maybe even, incorporating the business aspect to your art?
You said what motivators?
What tips or motivators have you used that you can then share with us?
I read mad books. Like you don't go to art school and learn how to be a business person. There are some curriculum. There's some schools that are getting a little bit better at it, but when I had been to art school, what I did was I learned how to be a better artist. I learned how to hone in on the skills that I already had and develop them to a professional level. I did not learn how to market myself. I didn't learn about the networking portion of it. I didn't learn how to approach galleries in undergrad. They usually save that for when you're an MFA student.
Right.
So all of this stuff I had to learn on my own. And the best way to do it is to go and seek out that knowledge. So the biggest tip that I can give is buy every book you find on the art business, and take as much as you can from all the information that's available to you, and learn as much as possible. I'm always learning. I'm always going to be a student in some sense. I may get far ahead in this art career of mine, but I'm always going to have to learn something new in order to continue that journey, right? So you have to be a consistent student, and pay attention to other artists and what they're doing. It's like any other business. You're going to have other people who are doing something similar to you. Network with those people, get to know them, make friends who do the same thing that you do. Most of my art shows that I've done in the Hartford area have been with friends of mine, people who I've met just through pursuing art and doing shows. A lot of us got a lot of no's, and so we made our own yeses, and we figured out ways to do our own art shows. And it, you
That's
know,
great.
over the past 12 years, we've been pretty busy. So we make things happen, and eventually you build up enough experience to get certain opportunities afforded to you. So now I'm at a point where I'm on a board of a gallery right now. This is my first time ever being on a board of a nonprofit, and art got me there. It wasn't my day job. You know, this was just being able to get a seat at a table with people who have certain experiences and knowledge, just through helping out. At first, I joined the curatorial committee, and I spent some time on that, kind of working with them, setting up art shows, planning shows, and things like that. And now I was voted onto the board. So now I'm one of the people who are leaders in that organization, who are
Good for you.
basically developing what their future is going to look like. So that's a big deal for me. And I can take that experience and I can bring that into the classroom environment and talk about
Right.
what that looks like. You know, with every experience that you have, think about what lessons can be learned through that and how you can share it with somebody else to bring them along the way.
That's awesome. Thanks, Dre.
No
So
problem.
now my official last question
Okay.
is to ask you to tell me a random fact or tidbit of information. So I call myself the amateur expert. I know a little bit about a lot. So I ask my guests to teach me something new, and it could be anything.
Okay. Let's see. What can I teach you? Everything in creating an image begins with shapes. Your shadows, your figures, all of that. It's all a shape. And once you're able to visualize what the shape of something is, then you'll be able to build up from that. That's your foundation.
Hmm. So you don't have to have the structure, just start with the basic shape.
You start with the basic shape. Now, there's guides that will show you where to place certain things on an image, but you don't necessarily have to start with the full structure of, let's say, the body or the full structure of the face.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate you
Well,
being on the show.
thank you for
I
featuring
have
me. I appreciate
gone
it.
to one of your art shows and it was amazing.
Thank
So
you.
I would suggest anybody that has a chance to get out there and go. Can you share with the audience where they can find you online, on Instagram, on whatever social media platforms you have, any shows you
Okay.
have coming up?
All right. So on Instagram is Dre B Painting. That's DreBPAINTIN. Dre B Painting. On Facebook, it's the same. You can also go to my business page on Facebook. That's Rochester Fine Art. My website is andrerochester.com. I have a store on there, so make sure you buy some goodies while you're there. Feel
It's very
free to
good
leave a
stuff.
message. Let me know you stopped by. I'd love to know what you think of my artwork. I'd love to know if you have any pointers for my website. Again, like I said, I don't know everything, so I'm open to tips and tricks from whoever wants to share knowledge. Um, you're in luck. I have two art shows in August. The
Okay.
first one is called Vision Quest. It opens on August 4th. That's a Saturday. That one is at Art Space in downtown Hartford,
Okay.
555 Asylum. And that is a group show. There's got to be like 20 artists in this show. It's a pretty big show.
Oh, that's cool.
The other show is called Four Visions, One Source. And this is a group show that is going to be at Windsor Art Center.
Great.
It is going to open on August 17th. That's another Saturday. Our artist talk and reception are going to be on the same day. So the artist talk will be before the reception at 3:30. All four of us will be there to talk about the work in the show, and answer any questions people may have about what we do. And then we'll have our opening reception afterward. There's also going to be another talk where me and my mentor, Stan with Cromwell, will be talking about curating, because we're co-curating the show.
Cool. That's exciting. Well, I look forward to seeing more work from you. I hope to be able to bless you get out to one of the events. And thank you again for being on the show. This will be on YouTube. This will be on Instagram for the next 24 hours, and it'll be reposted on YouTube, and it'll be there forever.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Good talking to you.
Good talking to you too.
Thanks. Bye.
Take care.